Right, so yeah, let me send this to you.
Check, 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 check.
Check, check. Testing 1, 2.
Check, check, check.
Check, check. Check, check. Testing 1, 2.
Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Put a 144 in the chat if you can hear us online. Put a 144 within the chat if you can hear us online. We will be with you all momentarily.
All right, we live? All right. So, I just sent that email to you, so you should have just got it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Shalom. Yahweh Shema Shah Barakatah to the brothers. Yahweh Shema Elatah Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah to the sisters. I'm priest and officer of 50 Darah Shema, and we are the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the leadership and the guidance of Commanding General YAHANNA. And our duty is to teach the Blacks, the Hispanics, the so-called Native Indians who they are according to the Bible. And what is the truth, you may ask? That the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the true Jews of the Bible.
Yes.
Right? And what today's topic is going to be about is it's going to be about, women. How women, should act according to the Bible. What are we to expect from women according to what God says? And also interracial relationships. So see, these are some of the things that are plaguing our people nowadays on what does God actually deem as appropriate,
right?
Or how our people, including brothers as well, but since the topic is about women, how should they act according to the Bible? Does God allow interracial dating? Does he allow mixing of relationships? So that's going to be the topic today. But let me just start off by saying, for all the righteous sisters that are out there, this is not an attack on any of the righteous sisters that are out there. We know that the sisters that are in the I.S.U.P.K, they are righteous sisters. So some of the topics that we talk about today, if it doesn't, apply to you, then hey, it has nothing to do with you. But for some of the women that are in the world, it does apply to them. So let's first just give, props to all the I.S.U.P.K sisters that are in the school, that, help the brothers out. They cook, they help just to make sure the school, stays in place. They do their job as sisters, so they deserve their flowers for that. So let's start off positive.
So, like, if I may, that's so heavy you say that, because without our sisters, this school would be incomplete. You
Right.
know what our sisters have been able to do, that's a very difficult thing for a woman to, turn her back on the world and to come into here and to literally submit to righteous authority. It's a challenge. It's a challenge for brothers to do it, but it's doubly,
Right.
challenging for our sisters to do it. So any sister that's in here, I'll lay my life down on the line for them, because, why wouldn't you?
Right.
They have literally, it's just an amazing thing. It's a miracle when you see a sister that's in the I.S.U.P.K, man. It's a lock in.
Right. Yep. All right. Somebody has to protect them, right? So let's start in the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18. Book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 18.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18. And the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him."
Okay, so the Lord God said during creation, it's not good for a man to be alone.
Right.
It's not good that man just by himself. The man was given a job by the Most High. The man was given the job, which was Adam, to take care of the animals, to rule the earth. So he decided that since man was doing this work alone, that he was going to make a helpmeet. That he will make a helpmeet for him, which was Adam at the time. Now, let's not skip over that part. Helpmeet. Officer Bancayo, can we get the definition of helpmeet? Like, what is a helpmeet? What is a helpmeet supposed to do?
This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, page 223. Helpmeet, a helper, generally a wife. But in Genesis 2:18, it is two words. I will make him a helpmeet for him, i.e. suitable for or answering to him.
So answering to him. In other words, to help the man. So just understand that the woman was created to help the man, not for her to rule over the man, but just be there to help and assist. Men have enough time as it is with some of the things that they deal with in the world, some of the hard, what's the word for it, Officer Bankayao, the tasks that we have to deal with in life as a Black man, the things that we go through. Sometimes we just need a little help. Maybe that help might just be comfort when you come home. Maybe just having a nice cooked meal when you come home. Or maybe just peace, which helps him relax from the hard days and tasks that he's dealt with. So with that being said, this is, of course, the kind of during the creation of things. So understand that, it was man and then woman, not woman, then man. One more time.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him.
All right. So let's drop that. We're going to go into the New Testament. The New Testament, the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11. We're going to start at verse 3. Now, this is for some of the Christians out there, since this is in the New Testament. So we're going to kind of, see what the Bible says when it comes to women.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
Right. So this is in the book of 1 Corinthians, right? So this, if anyone ever wanted to understand how the order of things work, well, here it goes out of your Bible. Have you ever read the scripture? Now we know, the sisters in the U.P.K, we know that they know these, especially these verses. But some of the sisters in the world, do you understand that in the Bible that there are certain things that have order, things that are supposed to fall in place according to God? And according to this in the New Testament, it states that God is first. It's God, the Most High God, the creator of the universe. He's first. He's not second. He's not third. He ain't fourth. He's at the top. And then what falls in line next? Christ, his son, that he gave authority to. But he, as some of the Christians say, they like to say that he is God. That's right. But, well, here you go again. How can that be when we just read this here? Christians got to read the Bible and understand the Bible before they can start trying to teach anyone. So this is the order of things. God, then Christ, and then what's next? The man. the man. The man who, of course, he can't get to God except through Christ. That is his head. That's who's above him. A lot of people sometimes want to go to God without going through Christ, but that ain't what the Bible teaches. But then what's next? Then there's the woman. Then the woman. It's not a bad position to be in. It's just that that's how God created things. Some women don't like that order. They rather it be the woman than God. Nah, Salakia. The woman, then child, then Christ, then God, then the man. There we go. That's usually the order of things in this society. That's the order of how they do things in this world, this age and society. But according to the Bible, that's out of order. You wonder why certain things today are out of whack, and then certain things in the household aren't the way that they should be. Well, take a look at the home and see if the order of things is right. And it starts right here. So the way things should be, again, is God, Christ, man, woman, and then child. Now that could be a whole nother conversation in class on children telling their parents, what to do. Now, as adults, when the children get older, of course, they have to sometimes tell parents what to do when they get older, because sometimes they're not able to make decisions for themselves as they get older. And that's just taking care of them. But don't confuse it with a child who is 3 years old, back talking his parents when they try to take his iPad and tell him that he can't have his iPad, and he cussing his mom and out. Two different things. But that's how society is. Order is different. The order is messed up. Let's read on to verse 4.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
See, so this is even talking about the man. I know the subject is about women, but we're just not going to skip over this part, because it's the man too who has what he's supposed to do. So every man that prays or prophesies, having his head covered, he dishonoreth his head, which is Christ. So that's why when we wear our headbands, or what we have on our head, we have our crown open. It's not covered, so we don't cover our head, the crown, so we don't honor our head. So we're, keeping the commandments. We're doing what the scriptures say. That's what the man's supposed to do. Now, Salakia.
Salakia, if I may, I'm gonna just cut in for a second. It's a heavy point that you made, because you think about the little hats,
right?
Their crown is covered. They intentionally cover the crown. And there is no justification for that according to what the Bible teaches. But they don't believe in Christ.
Right.
So to hell with that. Salakia.
Gotcha. Right. So read on to verse 5.
But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head, for that is even all one as if she were shaven.
Now this is deep. So we got to understand what this is talking about. So every woman that prays or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. So that should mean that her head should be covered. For that is even all one as if she were shaven. So meaning that, you ever seen a woman who shaved off her head? And a man looks at her like, you shaved your hair off. Now, some women don't think that's an issue, but you got to understand your hair is something that's glorious.
That's right.
Your hair is something that God gave you that stands out, especially when it's natural. So when men, of course, we're all adults here, so we're gonna keep it real today. So when you see a woman, maybe the first thing that you might notice about her, some might see her rear end first. Some might see her face first. Some might look at the nice long hair. The hair is part of her beauty. And it attracts men. It's what attracts men. So think about it. You having your head uncovered when it should be covered, what is that saying? Salaki, Officer Bunker.
No, Salaki, if I may, I remember that movie. Remember G.I. Jane?
Right.
Where Demi Moore, she shaved off her head because I think she's going through like the Marine Corps.
Right.
And, there's so many ways that you can attach that. Yeah, she's a heathen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when a woman shaves her head, it has real deep-rooted associations with shame and punishment.
Right.
And it traces back, to several different contexts, but it's a shameful thing.
Right.
Because like you said, her woman's hair is her glory.
Right.
Salakia.
Yeah, so when it says that every woman that pray or prophesy with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head, so she's dishonoring her husband. Because remember, we just talked about the order of things. She's dishonoring her man, her husband, if she has one. So those are some things you got to think about, because men pay attention to those things too. Men pay a lot of attention to how a woman acts, how a woman behaves. And we look at society now, and then, you look online, you look at the dating world, and they're like, well, nobody wants to date anymore. Nobody wants to court anymore. Ask yourself, why? Those are some things you should think about. Those are some things men pay attention to. How does this woman respect any of the other men that she's been with? How does this sister behave towards any of the other guys she's dated? Did she respect him? Did she watch how she carried herself? How she act around other people when he was around? How did she carry herself? Did she honor her husband or her head, or did she dishonor him when he was around? Something to think about. One more time, Officer Bunky. Yeah, we're going to get off of this one.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 5. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one, as if she were shaven.
All right. And just think about it. A woman shaving her head, like Officer Bunker y'all said, it's a shameful thing. It's a shameful thing for a woman to not have her hair. This verse speaks volume. Let's drop that. We're going to, Slocky, we're going to go ahead and get, we're going to stay in the book of 1 Corinthians. We're going to go to, actually, no, drop down to verse 14. Drop on down to verse 14. It's the same chapter, just verse 14.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him?
Right. So think about it. These are some things even in nature itself teaches you. So if a man has long hair, isn't it a shame unto him? So let's not confuse the fact that, men can have braids. Men can have cornrows. Men can have, they can style their hair. Otherwise, God wouldn't have gave us hair. We can have hair as men. But there are certain men that they may wear their hair like a woman. See, when a woman had hair, or God created a woman to have hair, we're going to get to that in the next verse. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. Women had hair that went to their feet. The hair was able to grow and cover their bodies. As we stated before, it's a glorious thing. So when a man wears his hair like a woman, that would make a man look shameful. As you see some of those what they call it, metrosexual type of brothers who have their hair and they that's what it's talking about. So if a man wears his hair like that, that's a shameful thing. Let's read on to verse 15.
But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her.
Right. Didn't me and Officer Bunker y'all just say that? We just sat here and said that a woman having long hair, it's a glory to her. It's a glory to see a woman who has her natural, long, beautiful hair. Now let's think about it. There's a lot of women now. They like to put all these different types of chemicals in their hair. Don't ask me what they are, Officer Bunker. I have no idea what chemicals they are, but I know they like to put certain chemicals in their hair that can destroy that glorious hair that God gave them. And then it tends to push their hairline back further and further and further, instead of just letting the natural glory that God gave them let that hair grow. It's a glory for a woman to have long hair. It's part of her beauty for her to have long hair. If we can pull up can we pull up some pictures, Officer Bunker, of some beautiful sisters with nice long black hair? So they can show their glory. And why he's getting that, I'm just going to read on for the rest of it. It says, for her hair is given to her for a covering. So we just kind of just said that. Her hair for a covering. A woman's hair could get to so long to where it could actually cover her. Look at all that. Look at all that natural beauty, that natural hair, that natural long hair. And some can actually get it longer than that. That goes down to their back, to their buttocks. That's glorious. To be able to show off your hair, your texture, that woolly hair, that silky hair, because there's different types of hair as well. Look at that sister right there. She got long hair. Well, the girl next to her, she was off the what show was she off of? Not that one, the other one. To the far, well, my left, I think to the far left. That was the that show, Blackish. Yeah, that's the show she was on. So you got the curly hair types. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's still, regardless, straight hair, short hair, curly hair, it's still glorious for a woman to have her long hair. All right, let's jump to 1 Corinthians chapter 14. 1 Corinthians chapter 14. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 34.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34. Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law.
Right. So this is also in the Bible. So what does it mean, like, to let your women keep silence in the churches? This is Paul's letter to the Corinthians. So why would he have to say something like this? Why is this in the Bible? Well, I tell you why. Because we talked about it earlier, it's about order. So there's not chaos in God's holy places. So when there's the Bible coming out or the scriptures coming out, there's an order of things. There's a structure of things. Think about it. If there weren't any orders, if there wasn't any law, there wasn't any type of structure, what do you think is going to happen in these churches? What do you think it's going to be like in these homes? It's going to be chaotic. We could take a look at the Christian church now and look at how the structure is. So when we look at the structure of the I.S.U.P.K, you wonder why we have the men on one side and we have the women on another side. Why is that? Officer Bunker, you have something?
Oh, Salak, if I may, you know what comes to mind? You said confusion, but I remember when I was in the world, you know, Milton, his poem Paradise Lost, you know, they pictured Satan, you
Right.
know, in the capital of hell, and it was entitled Pandemonium.
Right.
And pandemonium is a noun that describes wild, noisy chaos or utter confusion, often in the crowd. And that's exactly what you're speaking about right now.
Right.
Pandemonium. Salakia.
Right. So when it says, let your women keep silent in the churches, you are to be quiet. You are to shut your mouth. When you open your mouth, this isn't just, you know, trying to, you know, say something to disrespect you. This is for structure. So we don't have everybody yelling out, hey, what about this? Or what about that? Officer Bunker, y'all, but what about this? I don't know. Yeah, it can get like that. You got something? Right. So with that being said, so it is not permitted unto them to speak. So if they have a question, it's not saying that they can't speak at all. There's just a structure of how things should be done. When women are in our school, they're quiet, but if they have a question, they can speak. But there's an order of how you speak. Salakia, sir. Go ahead, sis. And then you speak. The Christian church, of course, they have no structure. They twerk in the up and down the aisles, running back and forth through the pulpit, jumping into the so-called Baptist, the water where they baptize people, the baptismal pool. There you go. Crazy. The Christian church doesn't have any type of structure. But see, in the I.S.U.P.K and in this Bible, there is structure. And they are commanded to be under obedience. So when we talk about that structure, the order of things, this is what it's talking about also. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans and women. It looks good. It looks respectful. It looks classy when women carry themselves in an upright manner. When I see a woman walking and she's silent, not that she can't talk, she can speak, but I mean, like, she's not always yipping and yapping 24/7. I'm like, yeah, she's a righteous sister. When she start yipping and yapping a lot, like, yeah, she still got some of those worldly ways. So for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience. Also saith the law. So know that with this verse in 1 Corinthians, there are a structure of how women are even supposed to behave in the churches when they're learning about God, when they're learning about, knowledge of the Bible. There's a way that they should conduct themselves. In verse 35, it says, and if they will learn anything, meaning that if they decided that they want to go and they want to learn, let them ask their husbands at home. Maybe there might be a certain question that she might want, to get answered. Maybe it might not be something that everybody needs to know. Maybe it's something that it's a question that your husband needs to only answer. Think about you asking questions, and there's nothing wrong with asking questions, but if you ask a question that maybe not is meant for everyone to hear, what does that do to the husband? Maybe it's something that you two maybe needed to discuss amongst yourselves, but just made it everyone else's business. Let them ask their husbands at home. We know some of the brothers in the UPK. We know that they're wise brothers, especially the brothers that are officers of 50s and above. They study the Bible. They're gonna have an answer, or they're gonna be able to get the answer for you. Now, of course, if there are certain things that can't be handled at home, then of course that's another conversation, and that goes, of course, for counsel. But a lot of the questions your husband, you can ask your husband, he can answer them at home for you. Because as we read on.
So, like, if I may, I have a word. The word is discretion. And discretion is the quality of behaving in a quiet and controlled way without drawing attention to yourself or giving away personal or private information.
Right. Some of that information that you may decide to ask or speak about in the church may not be something you should have been speaking about, because that could bring shame to your husband, to your head. Give you something to think about. One more time, and we're going to get off of it.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14. When we started at 34?
Slack, just start at verse 35.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14, verse 35. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for women to speak in the church.
All right, drop that. Let me get 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 9. Yeah. Now, while he's getting that, now this is something we should kind of, talk about. So, what are some of the idols or some of the women idols of today? Right? Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B. Who else? Who else I was about? Yeah. Who are some of the Sexy Red? Who else?
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj. I think our era was what? Lil' Kim.
Yeah, Lil' Kim, Issa Rae. There's a whole slew of what you would call sex therapists. These women are really, really liberated, and they're leading the charge against the patriarchy.
Right.
So you can think about any staunch feminist that's against, the divine order that the Most High Power set in place. They don't want to hear nothing that the man got to say.
Don't want to hear nothing the man has to say.
Oftentimes, these are sisters that have daddy issues. If they had strong fathers, they rebelled against them. In the home, they rebelled against them. To the point where that demon you know, is tremendously amplified today. You know, they're anti-man, period. I think it's called misandry. You know, Salakia.
You got them words now. You know, you got to break some of them words down now for me. Right. So it's a lot of these so-called women idols that women look up to today. For the women that are in the world, or the women that are actually trying to get out of the world, they look up to them as figures to be as, or to be like. Being an independent woman, being so independent to where that they don't need a man, being so independent to where they don't even respect their fathers. So let's get that.
This is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array.
Right, now let's take some time to break this down. So it says, in like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. I have a question. Do Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Sexy Red, any of those so-called women celebrities who push being a sex icon, are they dressed in or adorn themselves in modest apparel? La, they don't. What is considered modest apparel? I think that's really hard to understand nowadays.
Right.
What is considered modest apparel? What is considered appropriate according to the Bible? What's according to God, what he deems appropriate? Well, let's see. Officer Bunker asked that email that I sent you. There should be I think a picture that has the chapter and the verse with it. If you can kind of open it up, we can kind of just show, you know, like what modest and just, you know, what it would look like, or an idea. Hopefully, and what's the other one? I think I had two in there. There, yeah. Let's use that one. Well, yeah, I know. With I.U.P.K.
Yeah.
All right, we can get rid of the other one.
Oh my goodness. Here we go.
I gave two for the best. There we go. So when we talk about modest apparel, what do we consider modest apparel? Let's look at it. You showing it? You got the image up there?
It's up there. It's up there. See?
Now, are these women dressed like Sexy Red? Are they dressed like Nicki Minaj? Are they dressed like Cardi B? Or are they dressed modestly? See, sisters got to understand that if you want a good man, you're going to have to give him a reason to want to talk to or see that you're a good woman. Most men, when they look and they see Sexy Red and they see these types of women, it's just eye candy. They looking, but there's not somebody that you want to make your wife. It's not someone that you want to, you know, keep for the long run. It's not someone that you want to keep or maybe have children with. So when we think about modest apparel, let's take a look at some of the sisters and what they got on. There's some beautiful sisters. They have their head covered, like we just talked about in the Bible. So they got their hair covered. They ain't got their they butts or they tits out. They don't have all their rear end, Salakia. They're dressed modestly. This is pleasing to the Most High God. This is also pleasing to brothers, especially that are in the school. When a brother sees a woman that's still dressing like Sexy Red, still dressing like, you know, Cardi B and all them, it tells us that, yeah, she's still in the world. She got some work she still got to do. And then with shamefacedness and sobriety. So let's look up that word, Officer Vankael, shamefacedness. Shamefacedness.
So, Lockie, this is according to Merriam-Webster. Oh, shamefacedness. Salakia.
No, you too hard.
Terrible. All right, this is according to AI. Shamefacedness is the quality or state of being bashful, excessively modest, or showing a sense of embarrassment. It describes a demeanor characterized by a deep aversion to whatever brings shame, often resulting in a shy, humble, or reserved expression. That's according to Collins Dictionary.
Right. So just substitute that word with being like shamed or bashful, right? So with shamefacedness and sobriety, so when a woman is dressing modestly, she's thinking like, man, is what I'm wearing, is this appropriate? Is this going to bring shame if I put this on? If I decide that I want to wear this today? How's it going to make me look? If a woman doesn't consider or have any type of shame, then she's not going to consider what she's wearing. She's going to go out the door with a piece of string on. Little socks, maybe no socks, just sandals. Little string on the front, little string on the back. That's it. And that tells every man what type of woman she is. She has no shame. And sobriety. Let's get that one too. Sobriety.
Sobriety. Salakia. According to Merriam-Webster, is the quality or state of being sober.
Right. Quality and state of being sober, meaning that she's always drunk. She's always got, something polluting her mind. The way she's talking, the things that are coming out of her mouth. She's always drunk. Showing shamefaced. But see, some of the women who are modest, the women that adorn themselves in modest apparel, they are conscious of those types of things. She's conscious of if she drinks too much. She tries to make sure she stays sober. She tries to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. Now let's read on what the rest of this says.
This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array.
Right. So,
Salaki, to add to that definition of sobriety, it means seriousness. Sobriety also means the state of being serious and calm.
Oh, being serious and calm. So it's a demeanor as well. The way a woman can carry herself, it's a demeanor. How she acts, how she walks, how she talks. All those shows the sign of a woman who dressed in modest apparel.
It's like I keep thinking about that song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. It speaks, we have to come out of America. We have to remove our spirit from this place because this is where our women have learned to hate being shameful. America teaches our women to be prideful. That's what they teach.
Right.
You know, and that's one of the things that the Lord hates. He hates a proud look. And that's the look that not just our women, our men as well. You know, we've taken on this countenance that the Most High Power despises. He absolutely hates this look. Salakia.
Right. Let's give him a hand. And with that being said, you know, just the demeanor. Let's just take a look at the picture. Just the way that they have the class, the way that their hair is, the head is covered. From the head to the toe, it's just beautiful to see a sister that carries herself modestly and respectful and demeanor. To me, it's a turn on. I love that. What about you, Officer Bagael? Does that?
So like I love it because you just can't talk to her any kind of way. You just can't approach her any kind of way. There's certain things you just will not do in front of this woman because for one, she knows her value. She knows that she's worth something. You know what I mean? And by me recognizing that, brothers recognize it too.
Right.
You know, they're quicker to protect a woman that looks this way versus our sisters that are destroyed, unfortunately.
Right.
Salakia.
Yeah, you made a point. Said that it was Charleston White a long time ago. Yeah, he's crazy. You know, I'm not. Yeah, he's crazy. You gotta take what he say with a grain of salt because he's a comedian. But he said something that made sense that we all always say. Even when a woman dresses modestly, right? And she walks up, men will start tightening up a little bit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They kind of like, fix your shirt or, hey man, put that out. You know, Miss Such coming, you know. You got these sexy red type of chick walk by. You just keep smoking the blunt. You keep, put your 40 all out. You doing whatever. Your pants hanging off your ass.
Yeah.
When a woman walks up, a modestly dressed woman walks up with her aura, all her beauty. It's like it makes a brother want to tighten up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good thing. And it's also a good example to the children to see that. Right. Another thing with these protective hairstyle and wigs, just put a headpiece on. Just get a head wrap. Get you a nice collection of head wraps and make that part of your aesthetic every day. You know what I'm saying? You can wear your hair out every now and again, but you don't have to worry about bad hair days or your hair not, you're not feeling too confident in your hair today. Well, just put some big ass earrings on and a nice head wrap, and you'll look absolutely beautiful. What's better than that? You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Well, yeah.
But nah, he's right. I remember when Charleston White did say that. That was actually a good point he did make. Now, I ain't gonna give him too much credit outside of that though. But when a woman walks through, she's a righteous woman, how she carries herself, how she walks, how she talks, you'll see men. How you doing, miss? Doing all right? I'm Officer Daraj. They'll straighten up because it's a thing that men know. Men know that, just like women know that, well, majority of them know that there's some men who just ain't nothing and won't be nothing. Just like men know a righteous woman versus a woman in the world. So how a woman carries herself, it says a lot about her. Says a lot about her and the type of respect that she deserves. Now, in that verse, when we talk about 1 Timothy chapter 2, and it talks about not broidered with hair or gold or pearls or costly array, notice that there is a semicolon there. So a lot of women, they like to just focus on, their hair. My hair is done. And don't get me wrong, we just talked about the hair being, a woman's glory, but that ain't what I'm meaning. I'm talking about they focus so much on their hair, putting gold and pearls and all this nice stuff in their looks, but then they still dressed like Cardi B. They still dressed like a whore. None of that matters. It looks nice that your hair is done. It looks nice that you got the gold and the silver in it. And it's all nice and done and silky and beautiful. But at the end of the day, it still shows that your character, because you walked out of the house not examining what you had on. So it takes away all that you had went and got nicely done for your face, your cosmetics, your hair. Officer Bunker, you had something?
Yeah, so like if I may, I'm all for the protective styles. I'm for the braids. I love all that. I love the natural, the natural hair look. But it kind of makes me want. I would love to explore, the concept behind, women adding, the fake hair to their hair. And the only reason why I say that is because you see in recent times how they've linked all types of carcinogenic,
right,
elements in the hair. Yeah, and the brain tumors and the skin cancer, and I think that there's a parallel there. Like, you are beautiful just the way that you are. The hair that grows out of your head, is your glory, and the Most High Power blessed you with that. I don't have a problem with a woman, accentuating her beauty. Something wrong with that. But there is a spirit where you can go overboard with it. You always constantly in the mirror.
Right.
You spending 8 to 10 hours to get your hair braided, and it's getting ridiculous, man. It's absolutely imagine what you can actually accomplish in that time it took for you to sit to get them braids. Salakia.
Right.
I mean, this is just my perspective, but I would love to explore this more. The spirit behind that. And is this what's being conveyed in this scripture? Because the braids are not unlawful.
Right.
But like you said, you spending all this time just solely focused on your appearance and adorning and accentuating your appearance instead of just acknowledging how beautifully made you are, by the hand of God already. Salakia.
Right. All right. Yeah. So, like Officer Bakayel said, when sometimes these women, they like to focus so much on their appearance, and they're especially like with weave nowadays. Have y'all understood what actually comes in these weaves, what they're doing to them? That's a whole nother conversation, but I've done research on it. And some women from India, you know what they do? They cut their hair off and then they sell it. And before they sell it, they do some sort of ritual over the hair. I don't know. Don't ask me what the ritual is. I don't know. I just know it's something that it's not of the Bible. It's something we should be doing. So think about it. It's something that they're doing, which is outside of God. And you're putting this in your hair. You're putting this cursed hair in your head. And then you wonder why your beauty, your glory that the Most High God gave you destroys it. Those are some things to kind of think about. But, to give our sisters some grace, it's society, the oppressor, pushing his image on them too. So we got to give them some leeway because they think that, they can't measure up to the oppressor sometimes. So they have to do what they feel that makes them beautiful sometimes. But just take note of that, sisters. Officer Monkey.
So like it's heavy because, you think about at one point in time, it was the relaxers.
Right.
And then they linked that to cancer. It says recent scientific studies confirm that many hair weaves, extensions, and synthetic braiding products contain carcinogens or cancer-causing chemicals and hormone disruptors. Peer-reviewed research, including a breakthrough study by the Silent Spring Institute and independent testing from Consumer Reports, revealed that over 90% of tested hair extension products contain hazardous chemicals linked to breast cancer, uterine cancer, and reproductive issues. Because these products are unregulated and worn close to the scalp for weeks at a time, they present an overlooked source of chronic chemical exposure, disproportionately affecting Black women.
Hey, man, that deserves a hand. But that's the truth. So hopefully some of the sisters that are listening or watching, that they kind of take heed to this verse and some of the information that's being given. The God gave you that beautiful hair. He gave you that nice skin tone. Don't let society, take that from you. The way you act, the way you walk, the way you talk, all that is for you to show how you are as a woman and the way God intended for you to be. Let's go to verse 10.
It's the book of 2 Timothy. Oh, excuse me, 1 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 10. But which becometh woman professing godliness with good works.
Right? So, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. So these type of women, they're going to do good works. They're going to show godliness. They're going to show, like we talked about before, they're going to show their demeanor. They're going to show themselves worthy to the Most High God, getting the Most High God's approval on how they act, how they dress, because of the works that they're doing. They're working to change themselves to become better. They're taking themselves out of the world. They're stop wearing those things that make them look like a whore in the world, and starting to dress modestly to make themselves look respectful in the Most High God's eyes.
It's lucky for me. A lot of churches get this verse confused. Seventh-day Adventist, Pentecostal, a lot of holiness, jump down, hold my mule while I praise churches. They get this verse because they like their women don't wear makeup or braided hair or jewelry. That's a thing, a running theme since the 1800s with these religions. But they use these scriptures. They don't understand. So with it's not saying you can't wear braids,
Right.
braided hair, or jewelry.
Right.
That's not how you profess godliness, though.
Right.
You profess godliness with your good works. A lot of these female preachers, what they call themselves prophetess, whatever, they come on. You should see them when they come on stage. The big hair, the BBL, the jewelry, and they make it seem like God is with them. Look at the snatched waist. Look at the weave. Look at the jewelry. It's not how you profess godliness. Through your good works is what this is saying. That's how you profess your godliness. Being righteous.
Right. Let's skip on down to verse 12.
Verse 12. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence.
All right. Just like Officer Kowal just said, but I suffer not a woman to teach. We got women now who are wanting to be in the position of a man. They want to be in the position, in the role of a man. Women nowadays think that they can be just like a man. But we read in the beginning of creation that God created man first. Then he created the woman as a what? A helpmeet. So that means she's supposed to help the man. She ain't supposed to take authority over the man. She ain't even supposed to be teaching the man. Now, I'm not saying that the sisters can't, don't have any insight on certain things, but they're not supposed to be in a teaching role. How many women pastors do we see now are assorting the role of a man? Sitting behind the pulpit teaching. We do the Sabbath service, every Saturday, majority of the time. And then most of the time when we're reading out there, we're going over those laws, those statutes and commandments and everything. And it always, when we read it, we always seem to understand that there's always a man that has led the children of Israel. He's always put a man or some man of authority to lead the nation. Correct me if I'm wrong, Officer Kowal. Go ahead.
I had the definition of usurp. That might help nail the point home even more. Where it says a woman that's a usurp authority over a man. The definition, the AI Google definition of usurp is to take control of power, a position or authority by force, and without the legal right to do so.
Oh,
the Most High God didn't give you the right to do that. Sit your ass down.
Right. Plain and simple. Right. So the Most High God didn't give women the authority to lead. He didn't give you that position. That's not your job. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Men have a job. What is a man's job? Man's job is supposed to provide, he's supposed to protect the security, safety. Those are what men are supposed to do. When it's time to go to war, we don't send a woman to war. Well, Esau's military, Salakia, they do. But we know in the I.S.U.P.K, you know, and God, he always had the men in the armies. The men protected. That's the men's role. That's a man's role. So when did it become to where women can take or usurp authority over a man? Because that's what society teaches you. That's what the white man teaches you. That's where all this, I'm going a little too early. I won't do it just yet. I'm gonna save it for later. I'm gonna save it for later.
So like,
Go ahead.
that's Christianity.
Right.
That's exactly what that is, because Christianity gives, you know, the woman the liberty to not keep silent in the churches. And you know, I came out of the Seventh-day Adventist church, and they hold in high esteem this woman named Ellen G. White.
Ellen G.
And
White.
she was a preacher. She spoke before large audiences, large groups of people. She has a whole, you know, repository of literature that she wrote, you know, because she believed that she was divinely inspired by the Most High Power. She felt like she was a prophetess, you know, and it's kind of sickening because she put a battery in the backs of the women within the church, you know, to domineer over their households. She's, you know, women or figures like that, they give our sisters the idea. They're the ones that embed that in their heart,
Right.
that they can usurp authority, or they can lead, and they can teach, and they can be out front. But when we read right here, the Bible says that that's not so. This is not what the Most High Power wants.
Right.
So you have to, you know, literally put, if you're going to be obedient to what God says, or you're going to continue in the tradition of man, you know, put it on a T-chart. You know, what does God say about women preachers and pastors? You know, take that to your preacher, you know, and women pastors, they avoid us at all costs. They don't even like, you know, to see the priests and prophets in the I.S.U.P.K, because we know what time it is when it comes down to what God has said about their position, not just in the church, but in the grand order of society, humanity.
Right.
Salakia.
All right. So verse 13.
It's a book of 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 13. For Adam was first formed, then Eve.
So there it go again. It's confirming what we read in the original. Adam was formed first. The man was formed first. Then the woman. Not the woman and then the man. That's out of order. If anybody's telling you that, then guess what? They ain't reading the Bible. Society got things messed up. Thus said the Lord in the Bible. New Testament, man was here first. The woman was created to help the man. Drop that. Let me get the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 10. Book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 10.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
Who can find a virtuous woman? Officer Bunker, y'all still got the picture up. Lovely. No. Keep it up. No, keep it up. Keep it up. Who can find a virtuous woman? That's the question. It is very hard today in 2026 to find a virtuous woman. What does virtuous mean? Let's figure out what virtuous means.
So like I have the definition of virtue according to the Miriam Salakia, the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Virtue, strength, ability, often involving moral worth, any excellence of a person or a thing, power, influence. The phrase a virtuous woman from the book of Ruth, chapter 3, verse 11, and Proverbs 12 and 4, 31 and 10, 29, is literally a woman of ability. Sometimes the word is used in its Old English sense of power and strength. Salaki.
That's deep. So a virtuous woman is everything that Officer Bunkayal said. So this sounds like a righteous woman. This sounds like an excellent woman that someone would want to marry. And when it compares it to rubies, it says our price is far above rubies. Has anybody seen a ruby? A gem or that rock? It's worth, it's worth something. Gems are beautiful. They're worth money. Like gems, diamonds, gold, rocks. It's comparing it to where this virtuous woman, for what she is, there's no price. Rubies. What her value is worth more than those rubies. Her value is worth more than those beautiful gems. Who can find a virtuous woman? Some brothers have found a virtuous woman, and I definitely suggest that you brothers hold on to it if you find yourself a virtuous woman, because into 2026, it's hard out here. Darash, when you gonna get yourself a girl? Shoot, I'm looking. It's there, but there's a lot of things that come with it now. You got to be ready for it. You better be ready for what's out there. I done checked the diseases and everything that's in Texas and Georgia. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Salaki, if I may, that's heavy too, because ruby prices, like you were saying, astronomical at the time. Even now, but her price is far above that. Her value is far above that. But notice it doesn't say her beauty,
right?
Because we live in a technology age where we have Instagram. I know a brother online said he don't think it was intended for us black men to see this many bad women online. Because our grandfathers, they have Instagram. We every time you swipe the pages, it gets woman after woman after woman after woman. It's like, man, so you're classically conditioned to look for beauty first.
Right.
Don't confuse that with virtue. You can get a woman walk around your house with a big butt, can't cook or clean, and talks back, and has no value. It doesn't add any value to your life. That scripture doesn't say it talk about her beauty. It's talking about her virtue. I think that's important when actually trying to find a woman, to not concentrate so much on what she looks like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the other intangibles, like her virtue,
Right.
Because that's what's going to be there in the end,
That's right. Proverbs. Let's drop on down to verse, same chapter. I'm going to drop on down to verse 26.
This book of Proverbs, chapter 31, and verse 26. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness.
Right. So Proverbs chapter 31, verse 26. So now when she opens her mouth, when she speaks, when she talks, it ain't just her talking out of the side of her neck. It ain't making sense what she's saying. When she's opening her mouth, she's talking wisdom. As we talked about before, man was created first and then the woman. Woman is there to be a helpmeet. When she's speaking, she is helping the man. She's speaking life into the man. What comes out of her mouth is wisdom. She's speaking great things to you. She's speaking things that help uplift the man. She's speaking things that help uplift the man. She's not saying things to put him down. She's helping making the man a better version of himself. There are certain women that can make a man see things that he never even seen in himself. And there are certain women that can put a man down and make him feel like he can never amount to anything. But see, this woman, when she opens her mouth, it's with wisdom. Salakia.
Salakia, she ain't calling up your trap phone. Pussy nigga, where you at? She ain't saying that. Salakia.
Right. And then to add to what he's saying, not so much of her constantly speaking life into a man, like I don't need no woman to speak life into me. I ain't some limp man, like you just need a woman to speak life into you every day. Grow up. Right. Really, when she's around her friends and other sisters too, she's being with First Timothy. She's being that virtuous woman.
Right.
She's the sister to speaking wisdom, telling the young girls how to dress and what they should and should not do, how to please their husbands. Wisdom. This type of woman that has just dropping jewels on the other sisters and then being a voice of reason to her husband. And to the children. It goes so much further than just speaking life into her husband or giving him uplifting words. Because some men are extra confident. No, you need that. You just be the best you in your circle, in your situation. But this type of sister here, man, what comes out of her mouth, it ain't the everyday around the mill bull crap. It's wisdom. It's teaching the other sisters how to be better wives. You know what I'm saying? Being solution oriented and not adding to the problem. Stuff like that. Things that's worth value. That's why the Bible talked about her being far above rubies. And wisdom wasn't a part to it. But this woman here, though, she speaks wisdom. She's different from everybody else.
Right.
The Bible says of 1,000 women, I found none. So she's one in the 2,000. Like she's very, very special. This type of sister right here is worth that. You know what I mean?
Damn right. And the second part of that, it says, and her tongue is the law of kindness. I'm going to say that again. I don't think you heard me. And in her tongue is the law of kindness. Now, when we hear the word tongue, it can mean two things. What you're speaking or language. And in this context, it's talking about what's being spoken, what's coming out of her mouth. Is the law of kindness. She has things, like I said before, to uplift the brother. It's kind, even when the brother is wrong. Because we make mistakes too. Brothers we make mistakes. Sisters make mistakes. But the way that she speaks to him is kindness. Hey, baby, maybe you should try doing this. Maybe you should try doing that. You ever tried doing this? You notice the kind way of saying things? That'll help uplift a man. A man appreciates that type of woman. Let that sit in. Now, Officer Bankayal.
So, like, if I may, I got a quick precept. Colossians chapter 4, verse 6. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. And that's heavy. If she leads with kindness, she's not going to say a word out of season. She's not going to say a word with malicious intent.
Right.
She's not trying to, dehumanize you or belittle you or emasculate you with her tongue, with her speech.
Right.
And there's some women that as soon as they open their mouth, you just feel it. You can feel the emasculation, coming out of her mouth. Salakia, and that's disgusting.
It is.
If you're a sister like that, you need to check your spirit, man. That's nothing more than a demon, and we can fix you. You know what I'm saying? Get in class. Come sit at the feet of the prophets. We could teach you how to let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt. Salakia.
And with that being said, Officer Bunkayao, hold on, no, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Let me get some verses in. I'm gonna tell you when to play it. But the statement you made, because I was being nice the whole time. But now, for some of the ones that don't deserve some of that grace, we're gonna go in. So let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 26. Not yet. Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 26. Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 26.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, and verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman.
Pause. I find more bitter than death the woman. This is coming out of your Bible. That you find more bitter than actual death the woman. Let that sit in. Read.
The woman whose heart is snares and nets.
Her heart is snares and nets. Now, we just talked about the righteous woman. So we know the righteous woman ain't doing this. We gave her props, her flowers. We gave her respect. But this woman whose heart and snares is snares and nets. Now, what are snares and nets? Well, let's think about it. What does a net do? A net is there to catch something.
That's right.
Or trap something. And a snare, same thing, just another word for it. A trap. And what do some of these women or bitter women try to do? They put men in traps. How do you put certain men in traps? Answer that for me. I'll tell you how. Putting a man on child support when he wants to see his children. I see it all the time. Claiming that you're pregnant by some dude, Salakia, claiming that you're pregnant by some other dude, trying to get the brother who you want to be with to take care of the child. That's a trap. That's a snare. That's a net. Read on.
Snares and nets, and her hands as bands.
And her hands as bands, trapping you, holding you, keeping you tied because of her games that she plays, because of the traps she likes to set, because of the mind games she likes to play. Read on.
Whoso pleaseth God will escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her.
Whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her. Now, what is this saying? Whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her. So what that is saying is that the one that pleases the Most High God, the one who is searching for the Most High God, keeping his laws, his statutes, his commandments, that wise brother, these brothers in the I.S.U.P.K, we're going to see that woman, as we talked about before. We're going to see that evil woman. We're going to be able to spot that evil woman. We're going to be able to detect that evil woman. We're not going to let that evil woman get the best of us. Not the fact that we know the truth. And when we were in the world, it got us. We didn't see those traps. We didn't see those snares. Wise brothers, the ones who please God, we're going to be able to escape. We're going to see it a mile away before it happens. Salaki, Officer Bankael.
No, Salakia, I got a a short list, man, of the most expensive celebrity child support agreements. And I just found it really, really interesting. Let me pull it back up. Some of these names we won't be familiar with. Some of them we're not. Salaki, if I may. It says Lisa Bonder, ex-wife of Kerkorian. She secured a settlement of $10 million in back child support, plus $100,000 a month from billionaire casino mogul Kirk Kerkorian during their bitter legal battle. And then it also talks about the CEO of Caring, having to pay this woman named Evangelista $46,000 a month in support. Melanie Brown, Eddie Murphy's ex-wife, he got to pay $35,000 per month in child support, alongside with covering additional health care and educational costs. Diana Gowings with Willie Gary, she secured $28,000 a month or $336,000 annually in child support. And then the judge reduced it to $60,000 a year plus private school tuition. Owen Wilson, he's paying $36,560 per month to cover one child's expenses. And the list goes on and on. Salakia. Oh, Salakia, I recently saw, what's that sister that Drake was in love with? The dancer, I forget her name. But she was saying how she was friends with Drake's baby mama. And when Drake was Malia, Drake always, he even, mentioned her in his lyrics or whatever. He was in love with this stripper or whatever, but this stripper was friends with Drake's actual baby mama. And the girl's online and she's talking about how this woman literally was preying upon these wealthy men. And she's got pictures with all types of celebrities from Neo to Nick Cannon, you name it. If they had a big name and they was in entertainment, she got pictures with P. Diddy. I'm talking about she's just been around essentially, or the pictures, express that she's been around. But she was saying like how this woman hit the jackpot, and it's like, damn, I wonder what that co-parenting is like. I'm sure he's breaking her off, just on the strength of him being wealthy, him being rich. And women, there's certain women that are hunters, man.
Right.
What was the one that Deion Sanders brought before the players down there at Jackson State?
Oh yeah,
Brittany Renner. Giving brothers the game behind being, caught in these traps, getting caught in these bands and nets, man. So rock it.
Right. So that man, or who so pleaseth God, he shall escape from her. He's gonna be able to escape those traps. We're gonna see it a mile away. Don't want that. But read on.
This is the book, Slakia.
Just the last part.
With the Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse, where were we at?
26.
26 at the bottom. God of Slakia shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her.
But the sinner shall be taken by her. Now we have to understand what sin is. Sin is the transgression of God's law. You can read that about in the book of 1 John, New Testament, chapter 3, verse 4. So that sinner, that brother that who wants to sin, maybe he's committing adultery with this woman, knowing that she already has a husband. He's going to be taken by her. He's going to get caught in her traps. He's going to get caught in her nonsense. He's going to get caught in her games because he wants to do the same thing that this woman is doing. They're both is just as evil. So that sinner, he's going to be taken by her. You want an evil woman? Well, you got one. Drop that. Now, Proverbs 21, verse 9. Now, Officer Bunky, I have a picture first. I want you to, if you can, for me, pull up the picture before we read the verse. Yeah, Proverbs chapter 21, verse 9. Just hold it for me, Officer. Yep. Keep that one right there. Keep it right there. And then I'm gonna let Officer Kowal, I'm gonna let him read.
Are you ready?
I'm ready for you.
All right. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, and verse 9. It is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house.
Now, what is this saying? Let's take a look at this picture real quick. Yeah, we can get rid of that one. Let's take a look at this picture right here. After he just read this verse, let's think about this real quick, what this is saying. It is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with the brawling woman in a wide house. This brother is grabbing his head. We can just imagine what's probably going through his head, what he's probably hearing, what's being said. Sometimes it's better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than being inside of the house with a brawling woman. Now, what does brawling mean? What's brawling mean?
Brawling, AI overview, refers to the act of engaging in a rough, noisy, and uncontrolled physical fight. It usually happens in public spaces like a bar or a street, and often involves multiple people or disorderly conduct.
Right. So in this case, we're talking about a brawling woman, noisy, loud, always fussing, wanting to start something for no reason, trying to find something to argue about. And it becomes stressing sometimes to brothers. It can become very, very stressing to a man. So y'all didn't know that the Bible talked about this type of stuff, did you? For those who are watching. You didn't think that they talked about these types of women, righteous women and unrighteous women in the Bible. But it does. So you can only imagine what's going through his head. He probably deals with this all the time. And I can just imagine what's going through his head. And sometimes when it becomes repetitive on a daily basis, sometimes men just tap out. And then it just starts to sound something like this. I'm ready for you. You got to start it at 140 for me.
Okay.
You have to start it at 140 for me.
Oh, down here at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Just skip all of it to just go to 140. Hold on. Yeah. So again, so let's go back to the picture before he hits the play button. When a man is it says it's better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. Sometimes this is what it sounds like to a man when he hears this all the time. Ready for you.
Repeat the beep boop the bang, stop so twiddling the suits again. Repeat the boop the bob the bow, a suit so settling the bow the bow. Keep stop settling the home today, keep stop settling the suit to say. Oh, so settling the boot the bow, oh, so settling the so. Oh, day, huddle, daddle, day, huddle, daddle, day, huddle, daddle, day.
Sometimes that's how it sounds. One more time. From the top. It is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than with the brawling woman in a wide house. The Bible is telling you that this happens. This happens in households, in some people's relationships, where it's nothing sometimes but a brawling woman arguing all the time. Let me get the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 15. Book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 15.
This book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 15. A continual dropping in a very wicked and contentious woman are alike.
Hold on, just give me one minute. Let me get there.
I'll read it again when you get there. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 15. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike.
Man, here goes the Bible again, confirming what we just talked about. The Bible, King James Version Bible, you can pick this up yourself and read it. A continual dropping in a very rainy day. So let's think about a rainy day, right? What happens on a rainy day? The rain just continuously comes down, right? The rain just continuously keeps coming down. And we talk about one of them heavy raining days too. It just continuously comes down. Rain, 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 rain. You can't stop the rain. That's it. Very rainy day. And a contentious woman are alike. So the Bible is comparing a very rainy day and a contentious woman as being the same. And what is that? What is that saying? So let's figure out what contentious means. Contentious.
Contentious is an adjective describing people who are quarrelsome or topics that are highly controversial and likely to cause intense debate or disagreement.
Cause disagreement. So like you had something?
No, so like if I may, it's heavy. You say a continual dropping in a very rainy day. You think about, the rain, like being in a rainstorm, you can't even count the drops. You think about the points of contention, when you're dealing with a woman that the Bible is speaking about right now. It don't matter what you do, she's gonna find something to argue, to fuss about. And it's never ending. And you think about that rain, it's overpowering. Everything stops when it rains, brother. I don't know if you can't not notice it. You can't ignore it, And when it rains, you get what? Flash flooding. It's just, you're going to compound your problems dealing with a woman like this. Salakia.
Right. So as it says in Proverbs chapter 27, verse 15, a continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are just alike. It won't stop. The constant complaining, the constant nagging, the constant picking fights, the constant figuring, just trying to find something to argue about, even when there's nothing to argue about. Sometimes this is what some of the women are out there are like. Some of the women who need a lot of correction deal with. And men have to put up with this. This is things that men go through. Let me get the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 29. right, so we're going to go to the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and verse 29. The book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and verse 29. So it says that to let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. So instead of, like we see that picture that Officer Bankayal has, so instead of that sister or some of the women in the world that decided they want to just constantly complain, constantly nag, constantly find something wrong or fault with the brother, even sometimes when there's no fault that's there. Try this. Try not to let any corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to use for edifying. Like when we talked about earlier, the righteous sister. The righteous sister is going to help uplift the man. She's going to help with the kindness. There's still ways of still getting things across. You can still speak and talk, but what is it that you're saying? Are you saying something positive? Something that's going to help uplift the other person? Or is it something that you're saying that's going to put the person down, to make them want to go on top of that rooftop, as it was saying, a figure of speech for wanting to get the hell out of there? It's like you had something, Officer Bunker?
I can read it again. It said, this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. Salakia. This speaks volumes about or against, the state of hip hop right now, man. Our people are literally underneath a psyop. When you think about the music, the messages within the music, we're repeating these lyrics. We're reciting these lyrics that were created to literally, you're not speaking life when you recite these lyrics. When you recite and spin that, you're not invoking the spirit of the Lord, man. You're not, and so it's like, man, there's so much power in our words. You think about if we're created in the image of the Most High Power. The Most High Power created everything that we know, everything that we see, based off of just him speaking it into existence. We have to really recognize what we're doing when we're repeating, all the nonsense that we hear via, mass media, via entertainment, and so it's like, man, what are your words? How are they teaching or influencing others? You're not helping when you're telling somebody to go and scam or to go spin the block or, to smoke weed or that's not helping at all. If anything, that is very caustic, and it's a cancer to, the fabric that holds our nation together, which is brotherhood, man. So Salakia.
No.
I'm gonna land the damn plane.
Oh, I got you. What? You got you. Now, my other part of my topic was interracial relationships. Now we got about 15 minutes. Now this still ties into the topic what we're talking about when it comes to women, because, and if I don't get to finish, I may go into it next time. But interracial relationships, we have a lot of our sisters that decide, and brothers too, that want to, be in interracial relationships. Now, when we say interracial relationships, like, we got to understand, like, are we talking about, within our nation, or are we talking about outside of our nation? How does God actually look at dating interracially or dating the white woman? or dating the other nations. So that's what we're going to kind of go into. So, like I said, if we don't get to finish, I may have to continue this for next chapter. But kind of going into it, you know, there's, when we all think about like love and certain things, there's different types of love. There's, of course, you know, the passionate love. There's friendship love that you have for your friend, you know, your best friend. There's family love. You know, that family love is a little different. You know, you'll fight for your family. There's family love. There's God's love. We all know that God's love is obedience and you keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. And then there's Satan's love. So that's something I want to keep in your mind. So let's just kind of get into it, and we'll, like I said, we'll kind of stop if we don't get through to it. We're going to start in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 3. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3. We're going to see what the Most High God says about, you know, the other nations. If we can deal with the other nations like that. Let's see.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Verse 4.
Now we can pause right there. So let's take some time to analyze this and break this down. So it says that neither shalt thou make marriages with them. So I'm gonna start.
We can start when we got time. So like,
Come on.
it's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and has cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
Right. I see what you're doing. So with that being said, this is the Most High God. He's letting us know that when he shall bring us into the land whither we go. So where we go to possess, or wherever we go, what land we're in.
Right.
And the Most High God said he's cast out many nations before us. And these are these different types of nations. So when we talk about the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, these are different nations of people outside of the nation of Israel. And those nations are the Amorites. Let me go ahead and get those. Oh, Salakia. Oh, a nation is a family of people. So we talk about these different nations and family of people that the Most High God is discussing right here. So, and has cast out many nations before thee. So when he says the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, all these are nations or families of people. So let's read on to verse 2.
And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them.
So this is the Most High God. He's stating that we are supposed to smite them. Not now. Not until Christ gives us the head, but during that time frame, Most High God, when he says something, it's already been said. So when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, meaning that these other nations before us, yeah, it says thou shalt smite them, and we shall destroy them, and we shall make no covenant with them, no agreement with them, no bond with them, nor show any mercy unto them. Let's see why.
Verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
So it says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Now we understand that marriage or sex is marriage.
That's right.
So when you say when it says thou shalt make no marriages with them, that means that we are not to have intercourse with the other nations of people outside of the nation of Israel.
Right.
And the nation of Israel, for those who don't know, consists of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
That's right.
12 tribes of Israel. Now we'll probably won't have time to go into all that, but just understand that's what we're talking about right now. So we're not to make any marriages with them. We're not to give thy daughter, thou shalt not give unto his son. So we can't even give our sons and daughters unto those other nations. They can't go be amongst the other nations and mate with them, according to the Most High God. Nor his daughter shall thou take unto thy son. So even some of the women, the daughters, we can't give those unto their sons, the other nations, the Africans, the Japanese, the Asians, the Caucasians, the whites, the Italians, all the different types of white folks, white people, so-called oppressor. Those are other nations or families of people, according to the Most High God. Why? Let's read on. Verse 4.
Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
So, because the Most High God said that they will turn away thy son, your children, from following me. The Most High God already knows each and every one of us. He created each and every single one of the nations. He knows we're God's chosen people. So he already knows and gave us law, statutes, command what we're supposed to do. He knows that when we go deal with the other nations, that they're going to turn our children, our nation of people, from following the Most High God, and that they may serve other gods. Look at our nation now. Look at blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans now. Don't they serve other gods?
Right.
Of course not the brothers and sisters in the truth, but the ones that are in the world, don't they serve other gods? Don't they serve Christianity?
That's right.
Don't they serve Islam? Don't they serve every other religion outside of the Bible or the culture that's spoken about according to the Most High God has stated? Officer Bunkiel?
Salakia, you're not bringing a white girl to a black church, brother.
Right.
You know, you literally going to the white church. You're literally going to put on the matching pajamas and sit underneath a damn Christmas tree. You know, you're not going to be doing the things in the spirit of your people. It's just certain things that you're just not going to do. You take on another wife. You get an East Indian. Now you're practicing things that you ain't got no business practicing. You know, she's bringing all kinds of idols, all kinds of weird looking statues in the crib,
right?
Teaching you the Kama Sutra, and you thinking that, you know, you doing yogas for you stretching. You know, it has nothing at all to do with any of that, but it's literally joining you to, you know, the worship of another God or another power, you know, and it's like, damn, that's heavy. In spirit, we do take on, you know, the spirit of worshiping other gods, because we understand that sex is marriage. And the Bible says that where two become twain, to become what? One flesh.
Mm-hmm.
So if she's worshiping, you know, Kali and Krishna and all these,
right,
whatever the hell it is, a stack of doo-doo, you will too.
Right.
You know, Salakia.
Right. So Officer Bunkiel, if you can, in the email, I want you to get you can take down that picture. There's a second one. The second picture for me. Under interracial relationships, the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get
prepared.
You know it.
Right. Yeah, but
I was going to use the first one, but I want to use this one. Come on. Come
I
on.
didn't even see this.
Come on. You got to get it in. You got to get it in the photo.
Crazy.
You got to get it in the folder. It's the truth.
Yeah, you wild for this off.
Lie. No, it's the truth.
Yeah, damn so is. Good. Now let me zoom out. You gotta see the full picture.
Yeah.
Mercy.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. Let's get the president in the cuffing and everything so we can see it.
Nice.
So when it says, let me go back to the verse.
We're in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
See, now we're under grace, right? We're under grace, but it don't mean that it gives you the license to sin. Sooner or later, the Most High God is going to get tired of you dealing with these other nations, and he's going to destroy you suddenly. So when we see this picture right here, when it talks about serving other gods, you have to understand what is being done in this picture. You are celebrating Christmas. You are a black man who decided to take on the customs of the other nations. Christmas is not a custom of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It's not. You can read Jeremiah chapter 10, talks about the Christmas tree.
That's right.
Not once did it tell our people to do that. So when it says that they may serve other gods, well, you're serving another God. How are they serving another God with Christmas, Daraj? That doesn't make sense. Well, when you do the research, you do the knowledge behind the Christmas tree, the gods that are attached to it, the rituals, the customs, the traditions of Christmas, they're attached to other gods. When you follow the other nations of people, when you follow people outside of your nation, this is what you'll become. You'll put on that Christmas sweater. You'll put on that Santa Claus hat. And that brother, he's the happiest in the world. Look at him. He in his own world until something happens, until he gets a wake-up call. And that wake-up call can happen anyway. I don't know what your wake-up call will be. Maybe it'll be you getting attacked by the cops. Maybe it'll be the fact that she switched on you for some particular reason. Who knows? Oh, but I will tell you this. I can tell you what the Most High God said. We got about, 4 minutes? I got one more. Let me get Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. Drop that. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 10.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
It says, never trust thine enemy. Now, you think I'm going to believe someone because they say, well, not all people are like that. Or am I going to listen to what the Most High God says? I'd rather listen to what the Most High God says. We can look at the news. We can look at television, and we can see that every time one of our people, whether it's a brother or a sister dealing with the other nations, something happens to them for some particular reason. Nolan Wells. He decided he wanted to go on a boat trip with these people, trusting that these people had his best interests at heart. And they switched up on him. Next thing you know, he drowned. No one was there to help the brother because he did what? Because he trusted his enemy. Hey, I didn't write the Bible. I'm just reading what's in it. The brothers in I.S.U.P.K, we believe what's in this Bible. It says to never trust thine enemy. See, those are some things that people don't ask. Who is the enemy? I'll tell you, the person who's been oppressing us for all this time, 400 plus years, the people who claim to love you, but always seem to use you for their personal gain, for their personal uprising, whatever the case is, whatever their agenda is, they use you. But the Bible says never to trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. He's evil. Salaki, Officer Bankayo.
That's heavy you say that, because there's so many different instances where, you know, our brothers made the foolish decision to want to inquire after or socialize with or have, you know, meanderings with a white woman or a woman from another nation. You can look at Emmett Till and the infamous so-called wolf whistle. You can look at the Tulsa race massacre. That whole issue derived from, you know, a teenager named Dick Rowland who socialized with a white woman in an elevator, you know, and it goes on and on. You think about Rosewood, you know, and the accusation of, you know, this white woman, she was sleeping, she got beat by a white man, but she blamed it on a black man, you know? And so it's like, yeah, the Bible is telling you right now to never trust thine enemy. We don't look at them as being our enemies because of Christianity.
Right.
Salakia.
Right. And I had about 3 more verses and a couple of videos to show, but that's my time. I'm priest and officer of the Interracial. We are the I.S.U.P.K, Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the leadership and guidance of Commanding General YAHANNA. And I'm going to bring up Officer 1000, Officer Bankayo, to read the security announcements.
Clap it up. I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. The book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. The book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10, means 10th in the Hebrew. It's pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds, a free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. The upcoming Holy Convocation, we have the memorial blowing of trumpets, first day of the 7th month, which will be Friday, September 11th of this year, according to the book of Leviticus, 23rd chapter, verses 24 through 25. We also have the Midwest Fire Weekend, all right? It's coming up August the 2nd, all right? Sunday, August the 2nd is a cookout, but everything begins, Thursday at the scripture breakdown, man. Get with your camp leader, set your affairs in order. Hope to see you there. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, I.M.A.J.M, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to render one courteous salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Imam Shabbat, I.M.A.J.M, Barak, Yahweh by Shemiah Shabrakatah. Yadamatai is down, Sar. Turn and face the sisters. Sisters, I.M.A.J.M, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to render one courteous salute to our sisters. I.M.A.J.M Shabbat, I.M.A.J.M Barak, Yahweh Shemal Thaba Shemiah Shad. Yadamatai, hands down. Class dismissed.